Hi, I'm Tony Williams, and this is Brooklyn Savvy.
Hi, I'm Tony Williams, and welcome to Brooklyn Savvy. We are here with Dr. Iris Davis of the Healing Threads, and she is phenomenal. This is the second part of a two-part episode on energy medicine. And Dr. Iris Davis has so much great information. Some of it may be new to some of our viewers, but I think that this is one of our most compelling shows. But with that, let me also introduce Colette Ellis. She is a behavioral health coach, and she's also a regular on Brooklyn Savvy. And we also have Phyllis White-Throne and Nomiki Mokrillos. So thank you, ladies, for joining. So we're going to pick right up where we left off last week, Iris, and that is prayer, meditation, and its impact on your energy and your health status.
Prayer and meditation are one way of rebalancing your autonomic nervous system, your limbic system, which is the system in your brain that has a lot of control of the emotions, stress, etc. If you're profoundly depressed, even with prayer and meditation, you still need to look at what in the full spectrum of care you need to do. What I don't like people to do is say, well, you don't ever need to go see a psychiatrist. You just go on and pray about it. I want you to pray to find a way to find a psychiatrist who not only understands you, but knows how to appreciate you and respect what your body can handle and your life. That's also how you use prayer. Am I making it clear? It should be a clear, forward-moving intention of your energy.
I like
for your
intention.
Own healing.
Yes, intention.
Intention is, come on, Colette.
Yes, I think of it when I think of that concept of rest and digest. And so when I'm meditating and sometimes even doing soft belly breathing while meditating, when I finish, this is going to sound funny, but if I burp, I feel like, yeah, my body really got what it needed.
Also, Dr. Davis, you mentioned, which is very important, it's if people do need to reach out to a professional, a counselor, a psychiatrist, it's important to include and have somebody who understands their cultural background, their religious background, and incorporate all of them in the treatment process, which would be more effective as a goal in work.
And I'd like to talk too about the chakras, and I guess the chakras the blockages that occur, how that impacts your health via your energy. Could you speak about that?
So the chakras are energy centers. They're basically based on your spine. And they're at the top of your head. They're here. This is called the third eye. There's a throat chakra. There's a heart chakra. And then in the upper part of your abdomen is your solar plexus chakra, the one in your pelvis. And then there's one in the root at the base of the spine. And each one of them corresponds to a color. So there's color therapy. There's this. So anyway, these are these kind of, I would call them, think of like an old-fashioned horn and it coming in. And so they should all be rotating in a certain direction. They should all be energetically open. And they should all be moving in resonance together. And what happens when you block them? They all respond to certain organs. They all respond to certain parts of your nervous system and other organs. So everything has a role and a connection that is not always seen.
I remember meditating and putting my hands
on your heart?
Yes, and my hands involuntarily were spinning. And I felt that was proof to me that, yes, I have a throat chakra. Yes, I have a heart chakra. And when I meditate, my hands it'll spin. It spins along with that center. That's what I've experienced.
Oh, that's a lovely experience to share. But I tell everybody, how many of you have gotten some kind of news where you just felt like somebody punched you in your stomach?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, there is a brain-gut connection. You know that the brain and the gut and the embryo, They really come out of that same tissue. And so when people talk about the brain and the gut and the central nervous system and blah, 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 I'm like, your neurotransmitters are in your gut. The cells to make all those neurotransmitters are in your gut. There's a profound connection. That's why in Western medicine, they started the individual who I went to study here with the individual who started a medical version of using antidepressants with irritable bowel disorder, with ulcerative colitis, to see how much he could affect change. And it was amazing how much change he could affect just by changing the milieu of the central nervous system neurotransmitters. Just by antidepressants, et cetera. And talk about which one you could use, et cetera. Now, that's been done forever in other forms. But so I won't even get started on gut health. I'm behaving.
Now, a question is, how do you read the energy, though? Meaning, how does that? Or is it just comes to you? Does it just come to you? This information? How does
I don't
happen?
think so. I think that some people it's innate. Some people it's natural. But all of us have the ability to read energy, and we do it all the time. I'm not talking to that person. I'm gonna stay over here. I'm gonna walk this way. I like your nerve, as many guests as you have read, I'm quite sure you're very clear on your capacity for reading. What I did in my particular case as a physician was first, nurses are really the one who train you in the middle of the night, and I'd say they're leaving. She'd say, "Yep, lights down." And she wasn't talking about the light in the room. She's talking about the light that we somehow can sometimes visualize coming off a patient. The energy we can feel coming off that patient. And so you can notice a diminution in the crown chakra, okay? You can notice a diminution in the root chakra too, or other chakras. And so sometimes someone's going to die because, for heaven's sakes, they're bleeding to death, blah, 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 blah. But other times you don't know when a person's going to leave. But you could, so over the years I said, and then you started to notice the patients that were stuck. They were blocked. They could never heal no matter what you did to move them through another pathway. Like chronic pain people, you can often see major places where they're blocked. When I can tell you the number of people who have back pain in this country, because the back also means that's what you support yourself with. That's what you walk with. That's what you sit on. That's what you do. So it is endemic. So between that and the way we sit, the way we care for ourselves, the amount of abdominal obese, can you see all the reasons? I've just gone through anatomic, I've gone through emotional, I've gone through social, I've gone through spiritual, and then when you start putting issues of I'm frightened all the time. Like Colette has this wonderful piece. I'm sorry, I know I've been doing this, but I didn't watch your videos, young ladies. But she has this wonderful piece on how she created it so people could let go of fear. But really what you have to do when you let go of fear is also let go of shame.
Yes.
Explain that a little bit. Explain that more deeply, please. Could you elaborate?
Okay, so shame is often built into the way we train ourselves in our society. You shouldn't be doing that. You can't do that. Oh, well, that's your fault. You have to become from a point where you look at wisdom, compassion, and so that you can also have the capacity to forgive someone for the way they came at you and they made you feel. You can say, I'm sorry, I forgive you. Thank you for the lesson. And then you can take your wisdom and move on about your business. So it is crucial that you learn to gain wisdom from the energies you are given. Because otherwise what you're putting out into the universe is, I'm so angry, I don't trust anybody, I don't want you to. How many times have we seen someone angry like this? How many young people's facilities have you visited? Those are some angry children.
Yeah.
That's why meditation has been shown to help. Like they did a wonderful study in Baltimore taking schools that were really troubled and teaching the kids meditation. And the kids would come and say, I need a meditation room. It changed the whole environment of the school. Nothing else changed for that meditation class. You have got to empower people to understand that no matter what level of society they're in, they have the capacity to control their own joy. Nobody can take your mind and your joy from you. Remember how old folks used to say that?
Amen.
Nobody can take it from us.
Dr. Davis, would you say also it's about allowing yourself to take a risk, to be open to the universe, to be open to your intuition and trust in that in using your judgment about certain things? So kind of, would you say you'd have to take a risk, an individual would have to be comfortable enough to open up to the universe and take that risk?
Sometimes not only do you have to be open to the risk, you have to recognize that some things are hard to do. It took me years to learn to feel comfortable, to recognize that I was reading energy. Especially, you move from standard medicine and then you use integrative medicine and then you're using medical acupuncture. All of those were risks to take and change my career. I mean, I don't, most people kind of try and stay the little track, but I don't think any of you ladies do. But anyway, so you're adding on all those tools. People need to understand that we're human. And the way you learn is by making a mistake and saying, I got that one. Next.
I'm moving
I think
on.
That's wonderful. No, yeah, I like that.
I use some of that. I'm a therapist. So in my practice and in working with individuals, I always talk about starting from where they are, trusting their intuitions, trusting their gut, trusting their emotions, and sometimes trusting in taking that risk on their own individual progress and interpersonal concerns and issues. So it's kind of on an individual, smaller scale of what you're saying. We always start with taking that risk. It's hard.
The other thing that I think is most important is people don't understand. You don't have to have a certain amount of this outside. You have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to forgive yourself. And you have to learn how to stop looping. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I knew I shouldn't have. I don't know why I did that.
What does
that?
I'm sorry. What does love yourself look like to you? when you say love yourself, because I find that is a question that I'm hearing from women and then women of color a lot, like, what does it mean to love myself? Because so often our energy, we define the loving of ourselves based on how much we love others,
I don't know a female culture I've ever run into where women are not the primary holders of the responsibility for love in society.
Right.
I'm actually asking a panel because I'm trying to gather all this knowledge. I don't know any society in the world where women are not responsible because we're the ones who are responsible for family. I mean, let's talk about who are the primary caretakers of whoever all over the world. Okay. So most women have not been raised to see themselves as anything other than serving. I'm like, I don't have a problem with you serving, serve you. What did you do to take that moment and say, did you do 2 minutes of yoga? Did you do 10 jumping jacks? Did you say, I love you in the mirror? I find that the majority of the women I know that do a lot of therapy for themselves are in the nail salon. It's amazing how many women will give themselves a manicure. But it's a form of self-love. It may be something as small as saying, I'm going to sit down and eat lunch. Or you're going to eat dinner without serving, and you're going to eat dinner. Or telling everybody, I need everybody to gather at one time, and how everybody's going, I got it. And saying, we're sitting down at 6. That's a gift to you as the care provider, as the person, organizing your life where you're not always in obeisance to others. How would you say, Nomiki?